Well, you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. But I guess we'll never know unless you watch to find out. Hey everybody, hanging out at our Hey everybody, hanging out today up at our Oh. Hey everybody, I'm hanging out up at our Oh, it's like the fifth time. Hey everybody, coming at you today from our Coopersville, Michigan location where I got my hands for the first time on a new floor plan that I've never had a chance to see before. And it stopped me and made me go, huh, that's different. I thought, I don't know, maybe people like to see it because a lot of RVs have a very similar floor plan. Sometimes it's nice to see something new. And that's what's really cool about Rockwood and Flagstaff. They have found a way to bring a new level of fresh, fun originality to an industry that very often just does R&D. And RV R&D usually means rip off and duplicate, not research and develop. But what are we looking at on this thing? First of all, it's one of their newer entries in what they call their Suite series, where it's basically like 30-foot tip to tail, give or take just a little bit. But it has a full bed slide, awesome front bedroom closet, and with that windshield up front, it makes the whole room look and feel really big and open and grand, although, of course, you can pull that shade down, so you're not putting on a free show for the neighbors. But the living room on this one is, it's set up like a lot of smaller ultralight trailers I've seen, but they gave it like a double sofa setup with an elevated like serving breakfast bar for dining, which is very uncommon, but it's something they've been doing a lot recently, and personally, I really like it. I like being able to have that extra sofa space for visiting or just stretching out and having your own space. Sometimes, like, you know, my wife needs a little space for me. Sometimes I tend to be a little smothering, if you can imagine that, and she needs like, listen, you gotta sit over there and I gotta sit over here. That would work on this one. We could spend an extended time in a 30-foot trailer and I wouldn't end up divorced. But on top of that, we've got the enclosed belly with the tank heaters, Goodyear tires with TPMS, all sorts of goodness wrapped up in this one. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know your favorite part of it, and let me know the one thing you'd change given the opportunity. And if you haven't done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button as we get rolling along here.
And like I said, I think you're either going to love this one or I think you're going to hate it, and I think you're going to tune right out. I don't believe there's going to be a whole lot of in between. This floor plan, I think, has a potential to be very polarizing like that. So what I want to showcase for you is what it does, what it doesn't do, and then you decide if it's the right one for you. And like I said, just leave me a couple comments as we go. Let me know what you think about this one. I've been doing my best to try to find some different stuff for you to look at today, and I think this one qualifies. So let's start right over here. First of all, you have your choice between a light and dark interior wood tone. Similarly, you have your choice between like it's still a fairly light brown or the white optional skin that we're looking at today on the outside of this one. So you also have a different choice in your sofa color patterns on this as well. So you have more options here. But they included the fridge in that slide. And that's certainly not the first time that's been done in the RV industry. But it opens things up here. It gets that big bulky refrigerator out of the way and off the floor plan. And it's what allows the kitchen to literally be and do what it is. Now, the RV does have a 6.5-foot conventional sized sidewall, but we are looking at a vaulted ceiling. We are not in wide-angle fisheye lens mode right here. This is just how it actually looks with no skew whatsoever. That will open things up visually, but it will also give you just enough of a bonus headroom in the bathroom area where you can stand in the shower this one. Now, taking a look over here, I personally think that Rockwood and Flagstaff have the best kind of theater love seat. It's got that fold down armrest so it's cuddle compliant. It has some power outlets there. There's even storage in the armrests of this thing. But then on the back wall here, we have a tri-fold sleeper sofa, so that if you do have some friends or family over, they have a decent guest bed space to stay. And what's also kind of cool is next to that thing, you have some household and USB outlets over there. You may have noticed in that drop-down armrest in the theater seat, there's also household and USB outlets in there. So it's a very cool thing that they're doing here, I think, giving everybody, no matter where you're sitting, some outlets. And like I said, maybe you just like to lay or sit in one spot, or you just need a little bit of space for one another. Maybe you like to cuddle. I don't know. This is a floor plan that really allows you to pick your own adventure. And we are looking at roller blackout shades instead of pleated night shades, which I know a lot of people are going to like on this one. Now, the kitchen. This is really the kitchen and the road mode travel functions that I'm going to showcase in this video today. there are going to be the points where you either go, that is awesome, or you go, that is terrible. And there will not be a lot of people going, it's all right. This is either going to be 1 stars or 5 star. There's not going to be a lot in between. So first of all, right over here, you notice how we have that like elevated breakfast bar that Rockwood and Flagstaff have really almost started making a career out of. They're doing this to great effect and to great overall popularity. And in a floor plan like this, where I'm sitting at in the theater seat right now, this is where most builders would put a dinette. But I want to give you kind of the driver's seat point of view of this thing. Of course, it helps when I watch the camera so I don't like crank and angle this thing and look like, you know, I'm drunk. But I'm not even business drunk, guys. I'm just straight sober. I'm this stupid when I'm straight sober, if you can imagine it. But like I said, instead of a sofa and a dinette, we have twin sofas, so it's like a very social seating arrangement, which is kind of cool. You got a neat little conversation corner, or you can kind of stretch out and lounge across one sofa while somebody reclines at the other. I don't know. But the question I think a lot of people are going to have is, okay, if somebody's sitting at that bar, are they going to be in the way of the television? So I thought I'd park my dad bod over here and maybe kind of get in the way. Now, if I stand up and I'm trying to be a jerk, yeah, I can be in the way. But that camera is currently basically sitting right at the theater seat position. So it's in well, as I'm facing it right hand, stage left, theater seat over there. So this is like as bad as it gets right here. So unless someone's intentionally trying to be a jerk, I don't really think they're in the way. I think this one passes. And while we're looking up this direction, excellent window coverage. Anywhere they could put windows on this thing, including a full shade in the full viewing window in the entry door, which is nice, and then another window beside it, just because, they did. You know, they just went with all the windows they possibly could on this thing. Now, as long as we are kind of talking about questions and points of consideration, I'm willing to bet more than one of you watching this video have already said, what a stupid waste of kitchen counter space. That sofa's in the way. This is a terrible design. And maybe for some folks, yes, but it's actually way more functional than I think it looks on camera. And here's kind of a demonstration of what I mean. Because I get it. Like, you're like, this got this big giant sofa in the way. You can't get to any of this counter space. It definitely gives that appearance, and maybe for you it doesn't work. But I think it's actually more functional than you realize. What I think this really depends on, though, is that if you're the campsite cook person, you want this to either be your seat, or you want to make sure that this is not anyone's regular chair. You know, sometimes we all like to kind of stake out our own little territory. Because if somebody's here, then yeah, this really becomes a problem. But if nobody's here, you can reach right over here. Now, you know, I can tap that thing over there. It does help a little bit that I have long arms, certainly. And the pop-up power tower over here, you can actually kind of utilize that. Like, let's say you've got a toaster oven or an air fryer or a griddle or something like that. You can plop like a big coffee maker. You can plop an appliance right here so that really the only counter space that you're utilizing is from here over to the stove. Suddenly, you don't have to have go-go gadget arms like mine. You can reach over and you can get to everything. And then what that does is it leaves you dedicated counter space, even if your stove and your sink are in place, not to mention that big elevated breakfast bar where I've got the camera set up currently. So this works. Basically, here's the thing. I think if you're going to buy a pair of pants, you try them on for size, right? This is a kitchen that you have to try on like a pair of pants to see how it fits you before you buy it. It's just much more expensive pair of pants. And if these little demonstrations like that are handy for you, if you're a regular returning member of the RV Nerd Herd, do me a favor, click the like button on that video just to help spread this around. It doesn't cost you nothing, take you just a second, just tap it on your phone, whatever you gotta do. And if you are new with us and you appreciate that kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button and know that I do this just about every darn time I go through an RV. Now, you've got several air conditioning options in this. We're going to cover those more when we get up to the roof, because actually this camper has a ton of action going on even up on the roof level of this thing. But I think it's high time we crack everything open and take a look at the storage galorage in this thing here. It's all pocket screwed lumber core cabinetry, pardon me. By the way, that is like a 40% larger microwave. It's not quite as big as some of the big convections or whatever, but it's 1.3 cubic foot. What that means is like a residential dinner plate can actually fit into that thing. That isn't the case necessarily in a lot of towable RVs. Like I said, every little nook and cranny they could. The power tower and the outlets below the entertainment center are the only outlets in the kitchen. Like, there aren't any extra outlets hiding under an overhead cabinet. I just kind of want to point that out there because that is like, it feels like maybe one or two more outlets would be useful, but I don't know where else you would want them. You say, well, what if you put them under that overhead cabinet right there? Well, what are they going to do? Power the sink and the stove? You know, I think they have outlets where it actually matters in this thing. Now, if you're not going to use this for kitchen space, another thought is, like, it's actually not a bad spot to, like, you know, just use like an appliance corner, or I mean like a phone charger corner or something like that, especially since there's that set of USB plugs coming off the power tower right there. The radius edges on the entertainment center there also just help kind of complete the look for me in a really nice way. Now, the refrigerator. You have two choices. You have the standard 10.7 cubic foot, 12 volt DC compressor fridge that we're looking at, or you can swaption over to proper English, 8.3 cubic foot gas electric two-way. Either way, you maintain the solar and inverter package. That didn't actually used to always be the case on these. I'm glad it is now. You know, another thought I kind of had here. Maybe you just totally don't care for the breakfast bar situation on this. Nothing says you got to bring these chairs with you, or even both of them. If you got one or two of them out of the way, that right there might actually make a really nice space for like dog dishes, dog crates, or anything like that for any pet campers out there. I could see that working. Now, as a dual entry bedroom and bathroom and a radius shower, I figured, well, actually that might be 3 points. I figured the road mode travel function, which we're going to see in a few minutes here, and the kitchen setup, I figured those would be two roadblocks for some people, and if that's the case, no worries. They make other things with bed slides in this size from Rockwood and Flagstaff that maybe might work a little bit better for you. But the fact that this does have a radius shower also might be a third immediate roadblock for some people. And I want to point that stuff out so that, you know, you can spend your time and your money most effectively. Now, that bigger XL vent fan, that's going to be a standard issue item here in the bathroom of these, which is really awful nice. They do, like, you look at this, you're like, oh, it's like a really nice linen cabinet. Look at that. It goes all the way from the ceiling to the floor. Again, I like to be fair, and I like to open things up. And I don't want lying by omission to me is still lying. So I wanted to crack that open. And what you see is it's this goofy triangular shaped cabinet. And it's not that it's useless. Any space is better than no space, obviously. But you're probably going to be like rolling towels up and standing them in there like a line of standing burritos, basically. Just to give you an idea, effectively, of the kind of space that you have in there. But it would work great for standing up things like soaps and body washes, or, you know, stacking up some rolls of toilet paper. So, again, it's cool that they put some storage in this bathroom. It's better than no storage whatsoever. You may have also peeked in there the handy little shower miser. I call that the good till the last drop, like Maxwell House kind of water saver system. And over on the right-hand side, you might see there's a handy little soap caddy over there, so that you don't have to go bonking your head on that radius shower, which is already a little tighter on space, to like bend down to try to, you know, grab a bottle of shampoo or anything. I'm gonna slowly, as slowly as I can, rotate our way around here, and I'm realizing I forgot to turn the lights on in the bed slide. My apologies. I will give you just a kind of a quick that's a combination of quick and peak when you don't know what you want to say. But look at the little bendy lights, the reading lights that are there. They're not blue and white. They're white only. They're just click, click, on, off. But they also have USB charger plugs on them. Well, I kind of thought, I'm like, oh, that's a weird spot for that. Then I realized you can use your valance over here like a phone shelf above your bed, basically. Now, I do want to also give you a key in on one thing here. This is a 60 by 80 True Queen. That's great. It has great walk-around space. Terrific. There's no king option. This camper just isn't quite big enough to keep inside their 30-foot tip-to-tail, tongue-to-bumper marker on this one to be able to, you know, add the extra width on that slide for a king bed. So kind of keep that in mind. Now, again, we're going to talk about the fact that you have different air conditioner options, including a second air conditioner here in the bedroom. But a little shopping tip for you, look up at this sticker right here, and it will tell you, you know, is it, you know, 30 amp, 50 amp, whatever. What this is saying is that this is 50 amp because we ran the wiring here in case you wanted to add a second air conditioner. But keep in mind, not every one of these that we have at every single location is exactly identical. We could have some with one air, some with two. We could have some with extra fans or different wood tones or exteriors. A lot of different options here. Cool storage situation going on under the bed. I love how it's easy lift, but notice how that was an aluminum frame. Anything that Rockwood or Flagstaff build in-house that's going to be load-bearing will carry a welded aluminum skeleton that they build in-house, which I think is actually kind of cool. Now, it doesn't, it has a full front, well, not full front, but it has a front windshield, and that front window, and that front shelf, and that extra little, like all the power outlets and all that stuff. That means it doesn't have a full front wall closet that you often associate with a bed slide. It does instead have a good dedicated closet space there. I also want to mention, when you start seeing bed slides, you sometimes start going, ooh, does that mean it's washer dryer prepped? And this one is not. There just wasn't quite enough room to prep it for a washer and dryer, as well as, maintain any sort of hanging storage. So, that may not be the right RV for you, but I want to make sure that we're the right place for you by being fair and pointing that stuff out. In case you're curious, TV goes right there against that wall. Now, for reference, I'm standing like with my butt basically to the windshield, which I'm sure the other staff members here at the Coopersville, Michigan location truly appreciate, But just to give you your bearings, we're facing toward the back of the RV from the front right now, so we can get an idea of the road mode accessibility on this one. Now, remember, it's a dual entry bathroom. You got a door there, you got a door to the bathroom right there. This is the part right here that I think a lot of people immediately went, oh, son of a gun. Because that big countertop, that elevated serving station, it gets super bossy. And with the way that this refrigerator opens, it opens from the left side, swings open toward the right. Now that's reversible, by the way. Refrigerator doors, all we have to do is flip-flop that hinge. That's totally possible. So you could make this one refrigerator accessible in transit and then have a little travel dining bar. So there is potential to make that road mode functional. But there's another way to maybe do it without even doing that. Since this is a rack and pinion slide, you can just bump it open partially and slide through here and not wreck it or screw it up. And that's all it takes. You need to open it just about that much and suddenly the refrigerator becomes able to be fully opened. Although once again, you can shift it around. But if for some reason you had to get in here and it was tight quarters and you're like, oh crap, I forgot something, like we need to get a plate out of the kitchen. You don't have to do the Dukes of Hazzard yeehaw to jump over that countertop right there and, wreck your knee or your ankle when you're trying to do it in a hurry. You just bump the button real quick. Or again, flip the fridge door, whatever works for you. By the way, I just thought of a quick little handy pro tip here for you while I'm opening this up. Recommendation: when you're gonna do something like operate the slides that has a pretty big hefty power draw, turn all the lights off before you start running that slide out, either in or out. Even if you're hooked up to park power, usually with a Rockwood or a Flagstaff, it's less of an issue because they have a little bit better electrical system. But you may not realize not every RV has an equivalent electrical system. Even if they're both 30 amp, they might have different stuff in them, basically, that some handle an extra load better than others. So by doing that, you might prevent yourself from like popping fuses and needing to crawl around with a fuse box and get a pair of needle nose pliers to get those things in and out. Because I don't know the size fingers of the people who make those things, but I ain't got big fingers and my hands don't fit in there.
Man, yesterday I spent all day up in Ludington, Michigan, just getting rained on. It was like 40 degrees. It was miserable. This is just such a gift. Walking around without a jacket today. I love it. Anyway, you don't care about that. What are we looking at here? So this is an all aluminum skeleton product. The slide is, like even the slide has laminated walls. Even behind the nose cap, they still do a 1-inch laminated wall, which is very cool on these. And they also run a radiant foil layer down that nose cap in the front side of that laminated wall to give you a better thermal barrier. And then they run a layer of that radiant foil all the way across the belly. And there are thermostatic 12-volt tank heaters on this to give you good extended season kind of function. Now, if it's going to be screaming hot right against that front nose cap, you're probably going to want to stuff a couple pillows or something and pull that shade down to help keep the sun from baking you out of this thing. Power tongue jack, power awning, power stabilizer jacks. Everything is push button simple. Tim the Toolman Taylor power approved. 30-pound propane tanks with an auto changeover regulator means you spend more time camping and less time swapping. The RV also has at least a 190 watt roof factory solar package with the option of adding another 190 watt panel from the factory, plus you see the little portable panel right there in case you want to expand on that a little further. Now, I suppose technically they could have put a little bit bigger awning on this, but I'm kind of operating from a little bit of memory here. Sorry if this isn't correct. I think that's like a 21-foot awning. You've got sweet patio space here, and with no slides on the door side, it's very, like, you really get to maximize your use of that. These are also the easy lift kind of stable steps. And in case you're curious, that's what I mean right there. They're strutted and self-supporting. They got that strut. Now over here, to give you good ride and handling going down the road, this has a couple things going on. First of all, we have American-made Goodyear Endurance radials rated for 87 miles per hour. But Rockstaff also includes a factory TPMS with this. Well, from the factory at TPMS. It's an aftermarket thing that they just include. You get the idea, right? Anyway, so going down the road, you got better sneakers on this kid that are rated for more miles per hour than you should ever be towing this thing, and they give you a better way of keeping an eye on the pressure here so that you know actively, like, oh crap, I got a tire deflating. I need to get off the road before you have a blowout. But more than that, this also doesn't ride on a leaf spring suspension system like most RVs, even most big fifth wheels. That is a torsion axle and suspension system. Long story short, it is going to give you better tracking with less tire scrub when you're jackknifing into a parking spot, and just better experience during the whole towing adventure overall. Now, I like that kitchen window that they showcased here, but I want to give you one very important proactive don't bust your camper tip right now. Well, it's very cool that they are employing nerdism number 37 right here, which is not an ounce of space gone to waste. There's a chunk of space under the kitchen counter that you can't really get to from the inside, so they opened it up outdoors. I've seen some brands do like a little mini fridge right here. I don't see where Rockstaff has done that on this one, but I don't mind just plain storage either. What I was saying though is I want to help you proactively not break your trailer. If you have that frameless window open, you gotta be careful. If you just fling that door up there, you're gonna probably break the frameless mechanism. You're gonna have to get the old duct tape out, and you're gonna have to try to tape that sucker down to finish out your trip, and you're gonna be, fit to be tied the entire time. That's a little outside TV bracket, by the way. And I realized I forgot to set up our cool little griddle-in station that's included with every one of these. Now, you might have noticed there's a funky little hump, basically, in that little storage compartment outside. It's because there's a tail light and a hot, cold outside utility shower right there. Sometimes the inside and the outside have to kind of, play ball with one another a little bit. Now, it's cool that they're giving us this hard shell spare tire cover right here. It kind of hides the fact, though, that you have both a bumper and a 300-pound rated accessory hitch on this camper. Those are nice features. I want to make sure I point it out for you. Now, any window on this that can be, or should be, rather, frameless, is frameless by factory default. Any window that shouldn't be is not. And what I mean by that is almost an extension of the conversation we just had about that baggage door that flips up. Slide side windows in this will not be frameless, because if that thing was flipped open and you close the slide, which is an easy thing to miss because you're not there to really directly line of sight it, you could smash and bust this thing up. That'd be a bit of a trick. Now, if you've been keeping score, you might have noticed that outside storage under the kitchen is the first outside storage we've seen. This RV does not have a traditional front pass-through. That's one of the funny things on this camper. I think they compensated for it reasonably well, though, by opening up any little pocket they possibly could. Kind of like over here. Behind that refrigerator in the slide, there was some extra space left over. So you have what I call endoscopy storage, where it looks like, you're giving somebody a lower GI exam. And that actually goes all the way up to the slide roof, kind of roughly like the way that door flips up right there. So you might wonder, why didn't they use a really big, tall door? And my answer to that is, unless you had a stepladder, you'd never be able to reach up there to, secure that door with the latches. Thankfully, you do have that magnetic latch, and you see that these are all a sealed edge not sealed edge pressed membrane countertop. I'm sorry. I've been doing a ton of videos, and I spent all weekend at a roller coaster park with my family, and it's early in the week. I'm not yet recovered. I'm so fatigued. And that's not Bish's working me to death. That was me playing too freaking hard. And what I was saying is it has a sealed hinge on the baggage door, but what came out of my mouth was stupidity. Anyway. Also, the biggest chunk of your outside storage here will actually be located under the bed. Now, we kind of got a peek at this from the inside, but remember, that's not all the way up to the front of the bed because it does have those double dresser drawers. They kind of create a, say like a 1/3 inside, 1/3 shared, and then 1/3 outside sort of storage situation on this thing right here. So I'd be kind of curious. It doesn't have a normal pass-through compartment, and that feels weird. I totally get that. But do you think they did enough to kind of compensate for it? Personally, I think they did, but I'm not necessarily the one buying this. Now, I see a lot of different RVs, and I'm on a lot of different RV roofs. Roofs? Which one is it? I don't know. Again, I'm tired, I'm fatigued, nothing sounds right. So, I see some that look good, and I see some that sometimes look a little dirty, a little sloppy. What I can't ever recall seeing, and I'm not saying it's necessarily impossible, is a poorly done Rockwood or Flagstaff roof. They are so good and so consistent on one of the most critical areas of the RV. First of all, you don't tend to see like wrinkles in their roof membranes because it is a laminated roof. So this roof skin is fully glued and sucked down in place, basically. There's nowhere for a lot of air bubbles to get under there. Now, if it's a freshly built RV, you might see a tiny bit of bacon effect just around something like that skylight, but that will breathe out and settle down. And speaking of that skylight, this is actually kind of a cool way to get a little bit of a visual into the cross section of that thick laminated roof construction. So imagine if you had a flimsy little coffee cup, those foam coffee cups, and you had scalding hot water in it. Well, your hand doesn't get burnt, does it? Now imagine you've got like a 3 to 4 inch coffee cup in your hand. That's kind of how this roof is constructed, and that's how it's helping keep the sun away from you. Also, it's extremely walkable. That, the ladder on the back is nice, but it feels so sturdy and underfoot here. You just don't feel like you're gonna, fall through the thing. Now, remember, anywhere that you get the fans in the ceiling, you get the big fans, and you get that nice big vent cover to go with it. And this is even kind of cool. It's almost like sort of like an airplane wing sort of concept. That is basically the stink pipe off your black tank right there. That's what's letting your black tank breathe, and it's exhausting those nasty odors up high away from everybody's nose, so that for the most part we don't realize that that's kind of happening. Well, by using that sort of inverted shape, it will more actively suck more of those bad fumes out of that thing, so you don't get that bad odor backflow into your camper, which is cool. Now, the one that we're looking at here today has the single air conditioner. You can get this outfitted 30 amp service with a 13,500 air. If you want, you can outfit that to a 15,000 BTU air without messing with the electrical service. Or you can upgrade to 50 amp service and go with a second air conditioner that would be located right here in the bedroom space. I just don't want to back up any further because then you're going to see me take a tumble. Now, look at the skylight. It's at this crazy, weird, wacky angle. They can do that because they have a laminated roof, because they don't have the roof trusses, the cross members, to fight with. So they can put that skylight exactly where it provides you maximum headroom benefit. It's really, really cool. And again, factory standard 190 watt Go Power solar package up here without rewiring anything on the RV. You can add a second one of those panels, either aftermarket or from the factory. Anything beyond that, though, you're going to have to do a little bit of aftermarket wrenching. Now, if this one is close but no cigar, one that might actually work for you, yeah, okay, that came out roughly rightish, might be, say, like their front kitchen with rear bed slide, or there's they have a different front kitchen with rear bed slide. They have several of these entries in like a 30-foot size with a bed slide of some variety and different variations of living rooms. So if you don't like exactly how this one's laid out, but you like the features, you like the look that we showed you here today, I will try to leave you a couple links in the video description where you can take a look at a few other similar size feature floor plans with just a different layout. Maybe that'll work for you. And of course, I'll leave you a link in the video description to check for pricing and availability. Whether you're looking at the Flagstaff or the Rockwood variant, there might have to be 2 different links down there, just the way the website search works. And short of that, like I said, let me know what you think about this one. Tell me what you love, tell me what you could do without, and tell me what you'd see different. I guess that's kind of what you would... I don't know, whatever. Thanks for watching. That's all I really want to say. And until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and best wishes from Bishes, everyone.